I don't do it for clicks and none of that shit. But I do get the end. Shikamaru Nara, though, this guy, he had it bad at the beginning of this arc. He went with his sensei, Asuma, who actually, believed in him to, have a plan for, this. But like as they, approached these Akatsuki members who they didn't know their skills, right? Shikamaru was going into this like, well, we have two unknown enemies. I can only do with what I know. You know, being a strategist, it helps, knowing their abilities. He learned about Kakazu's ability to, essentially stitch on, Hedon's, like when Hedon loses limbs or whatever, he can stitch them back on, right? And then he found out that their blood was linked together. He was able to stop Hedon, with Shadow Strangling Jutsu, but he don't have high chakra reserves, so he can only, do that for so long. Then Kakazu came in and hit him in the head. So then, Hedon could go in with the finishing blow once he was in that circle of blood. But like this, all this information, even though it was devastating that he lost his sensei, right? And he was fucked up for a couple of days. Like it really took a toll on him. But then he bounced back and he was like, you know what? I know what these people operate like now. So now I have their weakness. I have a solution. I have a means to beat at least the guy who's immortal. And then the other guy we don't know about. And he told Kakashi this, and Kakashi was like, okay, well, you can handle the other guy, Hedon. And, they basically teamed up together. He took him into the woods, walked him into the woods, walked him to his gravesite. He was like on some like real fucking cool shit. Shikamaru was. He was like on some ninja shit during this time. You saw a side of Shikamaru that was like, okay, he's one of the Konoha 11 for sure, and he's one of the better members too. And it's not even because of his like, chakra reserves or his like physical strength or his durability or any of that, but it's because of his like mind mostly, and his ability to, stitch this guy together with paper bombs, you know, unload that on him with, the lighter, boom, have that like he's dismembered. But not just that, he's buried 6 feet deep under, rocks. And then these deer will always watch him. They'll watch his every move, even if somehow he got out of there. He'd still be being watched by that deers in the forest, because that part of the forest is where his clan, knew about these animals. He took him to a specific spot and everything. That's all. He had it laid out for him, his deathbed. And he did that right. And he got revenge for his, sensei's death. Also protected Naruto too, like a good friend. So strength is at 84%, speed 85, durability is 83, 84 for his endurance, 91 or 92 for his intelligence, and 86 for his experience. 80 for his close skills and 87 for his range skills. 81 for his recoup and 84 for his hacks. 84.6 for his overall power score. And that's for Shikamaru during the Asuma Revenge arc. Be cool, Colin Corn.